of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
Bonsoir, amis auditeurs. C'est un plaisir pour que nous ensemble avec vous dans l'émission 4G Contré. Jeudi, c'est jeudi 6 novembre 2025. Donc, c'est un plaisir pour que nous ensemble avec vous dans l'émission 4G Contré. Côté que nous une chance avec honneur. Une autre fois encore, nous présents dans l'émission pour nous capables de parler sur différentes questions qui gagnent dans les affaires élections. Et nous connaissons que son raz-de-marée qui fait, vous comprenez là, son raz-de-marée. Nous allons inviter spécial ensemble avec nous qui pour parler nous de questions élections. Et comment exactement?
Hello.
Yes, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We have the honor to have with us tonight a very well-known person into the community. This is her first time in our radio show. But you're gonna see she's very well known, and she's a member of this great organization. This organization, for us in the Haitian community, we are not aware of that much of this great organization, which doing a lot, especially for this election. It's the New Jersey Citizen Action, and we have the honor, the privilege to have with us Beverly Brown Woodia. She is the Financial Justice Program Director at this great organization, New Jersey Citizen Action. Good evening, Bev, just like they always call you. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much for inviting me, Diori.
Yes, this is our first time. This is Radio Olivier into the Asian community. The radio is part of a church, Asian church, Mount Olive Church of God in Orange, New Jersey. And the radio, we are live on the internet, on Facebook, on YouTube. And people from all around the world, especially in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Florida. And we have also an audience in France and also in Haiti. So can you just give us a brief presentation for us to know exactly this great person who is doing so much into the NJCA?
Thank you. I'll tell you a little bit about myself first. For the last 30 years, I've been working in the nonprofit sector, advocating for programs and policies needed to improve the lives for mostly low and moderate income people. And for the past 15 years, I've been working at New Jersey Citizen Action. For the past 15 years, I've been at New Jersey Citizen Action, working as the Financial Justice Program Director. And I am an advocate for consumer finance protections, affordable housing, and advancing the principles of the Community Reinvestment Act. All of this work is about making sure that people have equitable access to the financial tools that they need to live well and thrive, including things like access to credit for mortgages to buy homes, for small business owners to get loans, and for the financing of the development, especially of affordable housing. My work includes advocating for the policies and the regulations that protect consumers from unfair, deceptive, and discriminatory practices in the banking and finance industries. And so we fight unfair hidden fees, like, for instance, overdraft fees and on unfair fees on rental applications and high cost loans. I know probably some of your audience has experienced some of these payday loans where they charge you as much as 400% interest. We've also worked to ban things like medical debt from your credit report so that people don't end up with bad credit just because they get sick. So that's my work. And the organization, Citizen Action, was founded. It's a statewide coalition grassroots organization founded in 1982. We fight for social, racial, and economic justice for all. We fight to ensure that New Jersey works for all New Jerseyans, in particular low and moderate income families, people of color, and the most vulnerable members of our communities. We do this through organizing, advocacy, and direct services. And our advocacy and organizing has included really important victories in the areas of healthcare. Some of you may be familiar with the fact that in New Jersey, all children must be covered in the state healthcare programs. That's a major campaign that we worked on. As I mentioned, in financial justice work, besides the ban on medical debt, we worked to make sure that the state had an office to work with students who were having trouble with their student loan servicers, not getting the information they need. And so we helped create an office in the state that people can call. My colleagues at the organization work on access to healthcare, housing. We worked on a lot of other higher education, education protections in terms of financing and also worker protections. As you know, DOE will also provide direct services to empower the community. Services such as free tax preparation for people who make, for instance, $67,000 or less, people who have disabilities or have limited English skills. We have staff who will provide tax preparation for people for free. We have a financial coaching office. That's to work with people who, for instance, might want to improve their credit or work down paying their debt. That's another service. And all of these services are free, by the way. We have a first-time home buyer and rental and foreclosure counseling program. That means that we sit down with people, families, and help them prepare and get ready for the financing to buy their first home. We help people prepare the packages that they need to submit to banks. We have those counselors sit with people for as long as it takes. And these programs, again, are free. We also work on free healthcare enrollment. So when people are looking for either, Medicaid or any form of the ACA, we can advise them how to do that. And we generally do consumer education programs. We can come out to your organizations and talk to you about some of these important protections, laws that people need to know about, their rights, so that they can stand up for themselves. We also have introduced a new small landlord program where we are helping people who are small landlords understand what the laws are and their responsibilities are so they don't get in any trouble in managing and dealing with their tenants. So that's an overview. And do you want me to talk more about that, Yuri, or do you have any specific questions about those programs?
Yes, especially for the housing. I know someone who's in trouble with his landlord because of late payment. So especially he's not a federal worker, but from some situation happened, and then he could not come up with the money for the rent, and then the landlord start talking and have a lot of issues. So or can you help someone like this person, or can you just like help them or give them some information or to deal with that situation?
Sure. In terms of rental counseling, primarily what we're going to be able to do is help people figure out what resources are available for them. They might need to go to a lawyer right away. We are not lawyers, but for instance, we may be able to direct them to legal services of New Jersey if it has gotten to that point. There had been some programs at the state level. As you know, so many programs have been cut, partially because of what's going on in Washington, and also because, simply that the state in some cases has cut some of the programs. But our counselors can try to direct people to whatever services are available. And again, if they have a very, if they've gotten to the point where they're in danger of eviction, we would turn them over to Legal Services of New Jersey to look for the correct legal advice that they need at that stage. But certainly people can reach out to our counseling office to get a start on figuring out exactly what they have to do to protect themselves and to avoid eviction.
All right. I know another person that one of his son was riding a skateboard, and then a car hit the young boy, and then he ended up into the hospital. And there was so they determined it was the little man boy fought, and then he had to get some surgery and a lot of medical bill. So how can you help with that? Because they keep sending, the hospital keeps sending all those they asking for money, and then so they had to go to the financial credit or something. Or can you help with that?
Well, again, if the person was not signed up for any kind of insurance, again, they will, unfortunately, that means they're going to accrue the debt. The two things that, I think we can do, and without the particulars, I don't know, but it may be that they need to see an attorney about exactly what happened. Each case will be different. But in terms of accumulating debt, our financial coaches might be able to sit down with the family and help them figure out how to manage that debt and how to get past it. We don't provide any money for anyone. The state, however, did enter. We helped pass a bill called the Maria Carmen medical debt bill, and that bill does call for enrolling some people into, it depends on where the debt is from, but the state is partnered with an organization that in some cases will help pay down the debt. I cannot promise that in each case, but we can help direct people to that, to figure that out. We also worked on a bill that currently bans most medical debt from being reported to your credit report. So the family may still have the debt, but it would not be reported such that their credit would be ruined. But those three things, it's possible that they might be eligible for this program that the state is engaged in, where some debt is paid down. It depends on where the debt comes from, which hospital, which providers. And then again, we may be able to, the coaches may be able to work with the family to manage the debt better.
All right. For the housing, I know a family of 5 with the different immigration programs. So now the family is around like 8%. So now they're looking to buy a house. So you said you have a program for first-time buyer. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. New Jersey Citizen Action is one of the largest certified housing counseling agencies in the state. So what the family would do is enroll in this program. They would be assigned to a counselor who would sit down with them, look through, their financial situation. We work to negotiate with banks for more affordable mortgages. So with benefits such as no PMI, sometimes they come with down payment assistance. But the idea is that the family should enroll, the heads of the household should enroll in the program, meet with a counselor, and sit down to look at what their situation is. If they are in a position, if the counselor sees that the family is ready to apply for a mortgage, our counselors will help them put the package together, all of the paperwork and documents that are needed to submit for the mortgage. Our counselors, by law, we have to show 3 different mortgages. We tend to show 4 different mortgages. And again, they are mortgages that we have worked on with banks that are more affordable. Now, if the family is not quite ready, in other words, if the counselor determines that they need to improve their credit more, save a little more, they might be referred to our financial coaching program first. And once the financial coaches help the family, again, maybe get rid of some debt, improve their credit a little bit, they would come back to the counselors who would then move forward with helping the family get a package ready, get all the documents ready for application for a first-time home, to buy a first-time home. And so it's a very, as I said, we're one of the biggest agencies in the state. We are HUD certified by the Housing, Urban and Development Department of the United States. And it's, we've helped thousands of families get homes. And it's, I will say currently, the housing stock in New Jersey is pretty expensive. But again, our councils will do everything they can to get families ready, and so that they will be, approved for a mortgage. And on the advocacy side, that's a lot of the work that I do in terms of, for instance, working with the city of Newark and other towns to find ways to prevent, the housing, the cost of housing from going up. We have a long way to go, but it's part of the work that we do.
And or to enroll into the program, do we have a phone number? Do we have a website, or to contact?
So the best thing to do is for people to go onto our website, which is www.njcitizenaction.org. I'm going to email this, text this to you so you have it. And on the site, when there's a tab that says services, and under that tab, they'll see first-time home buyer counseling. Those counselors also work with anybody who may be facing foreclosure. So that's another service. If anybody, owns a home but has fallen into trouble or, has had problems paying their mortgage, the counselors will work with them in that case as well. So it's www.njcitizenaction.org under the services tab, and there they can enroll. They must fill out the application. It's required by the government that they do that. And this program, again, is free.
All right, the program is free, and also I will provide the website to the audience and to my network. Now, can you talk a little bit about the organization? So when did you start, and how many years do you have, and all people can get in contact with you, and where is your next event? Because I know you are doing a lot of events, especially around this time.
Sure. So Citizen Action, as I said, was founded in 1982. It's been in existence for 43 years. And we are open to also all residents of New Jersey, occasionally from a little outside of the state, but primarily our offices are in Newark, Highland Park, and down near Cherry Hill. So we're across the state, and they can sign up for various programs under that tab that I mentioned. But we've been doing this work for a very long time, and have a track record of helping people in the areas that I mentioned. As I said, we do the free tax preparation, the enrollment for healthcare, et cetera. I would also say that in the work that we're doing, a lot of you know that currently many of the programs and services that are provided by the federal government are under a serious threat. And so we also do some political work. And if people are interested in that and participating in some of the work that we do, for instance, to restore many of those programs, they can become a member. And also just to get the information that you were just asking about, when we have programs, if they get on our mailing list, we will send them information about webinars. We have webinars. Let's say you have student debt and you're trying to figure out this big mess that's going on right now with the United States Department of Education. No one can figure out how to manage their loans right now because the policies are changing so rapidly with this administration. So for instance, if you become a member, you can always find out these things on our website as well. But if you're a member, we'll mail information to you. We have webinars on that. We have webinars regarding healthcare programs in the state and the way that some of the programs are changing. So in order to become a member, People can also go to the website.
Okay.
And when you open up the website, there's a section that says, join us. And if you click there, there's a form and you can tell us what kind of information you want. Do you want to know about programs, or do you want to know about education webinars and things like that? So you can fill out the form. Once you're a member, you'll be in the mailing list, and we'll send you the kind of information that you asked for. And that's really it. That's membership, of course, is free. And when you talk about our political activity, we engage in educating people about the issues. We do have a separate organization that is under it's a tax category that allows us to lobby and go to Trenton. If people have stories that they want to tell their legislators, stories about problems that they're having, we help get those stories to the legislators who might be able to make decisions and pass laws that can change the circumstances that led to the problems that the person is having. So engaging with us is a way to get involved. It's also a way to people can avail themselves of our direct services, the ones I mentioned, but also to be a part of the larger civic engagement and community activism that is needed to make the changes that people want to see in their communities, to make them better and make their communities places where they can live well and thrive. So we do encourage people to get involved that way, but they're also welcome to just, look for and participate in our direct services.
All right. So before we get to the civic part or the political part, or someone can become a member, do you have to be a citizen? If you have papers or?
You do not. You just simply sign up. Members are welcome from anywhere, and there's no requirement in terms of status. Immigration status. We welcome everyone. People who live here are part of our community. We want to work with them. We want to know them. Some of the programs may have limitations based on federal law in terms of, in some of the healthcare programs are not available to adults, for instance, if people are not, citizens or documented. That's a separate issue. But in terms of engaging with our organization, you are welcome. We are very connected to the immigrant communities across the state, and we work with immigrant advocacy groups on behalf of the immigrant communities in New Jersey, which, of course, as you know, is a large part of our community. We are a state made of immigrants and made better by immigrants, and we want to be connected to and support and work with immigrants across the state as much as possible.
All right, thank you for that information, because sometimes when people just listen citizen, they say, "Oh, I'm not yet," or they
Thank you.
Like that. Yes.
Thank you for saying that. We do know that our name is a little confusing, but the name is meant to say that it's really about civics and about the people in the community, not specifically citizens by paper, but citizens of our community, because they simply live here, we consider part of the citizenry that we want to become engaged in all of the activities that are required to make all of the laws and policies in our state better and serve everyone as they should.
All right. So this information is very important, especially for our audience. So you can be part of this great organization, because this organization is here for you for any kind of services, especially with the situation that is going on right now. You need an organization on the ground that can help you with different kind of situation. And I was very happy to know about the organization. I think it was last month. They were on an event into the Orange Public Library, and then I said, "All right, this is something good." And since then, I have to say that I fall in love with the organization, with all the people, and
thank you.
The services they provide, and they are very active for everybody, especially for everybody. It's not only for people who are interested into politics or who's talking into the radio, but for everyone. I think we need this organization into the Haitian community. First of all, to help us understand the very complex life into the United States, especially how you can protect yourself because into the community we are being abused from left and right, from people that come from Haiti and people that live over here, because we do not have the information, especially for rent, especially for people that go and take a loan to buy a car. I know a lot of my friends, they need a car to do Uber, to do Lyft, or to do any kind of activities. And then when they go to the bank or the dealer, they give them a lot of deal, but the price is very high. Like you're paying, if your credit is not good, oh my God, it's a really headache. So thank you.
Exactly. Yeah. Unfortunately, if your credit is not good, you then become subject to working with companies that are not necessarily ethical or, fair. They charge you more money for, you have a higher interest rate on your loan. And so that's why, the coaching program is really important in that they can help people work to bring their credit, get their credit score up. And then, we hope be more eligible for these kinds of, more affordable loans. And that's a really difficult problem in this society, in that credit has become everything. If your credit is not good, you may not be able to get an apartment, a place to live. So any information and advice that we can give people about, improving their credit is very important. And I was going to say, you asked about future events, and we often have public, meetings for people where they can come and get information about what's involved in getting a mortgage. They don't have to sign up to, they're not signing up for anything, but they can come, and it's an educational session where they would learn about what is involved. So that is also very important. I would also say that if we don't provide direct service that someone needs, we can refer people to, agencies and also offices in the state that might provide those services. So a lot of what we do is the education. And as you said, if someone's having trouble, saving for, or they don't have the credit score necessary to get a loan that they need for the car, we can work with them to help improve their credit. But those are the kinds of things that we hope will help people who are, working hard to just get ahead.
All right, thank you for your services. And or can you do some formation outside of your organization? If a church, for example, invite you to come over to speak with the people, can you do that?
Yes, we do. We have an education. We have people who go out and speak in the community to talk about various things, various issues, various. We often go to senior centers to talk about how to avoid frauds and scams. I'm sure everybody on this call is aware of these horrible, groups that'll call you and say, "Oh dear, you have, somebody's trying to use your credit card," and it turns out they're actually the criminal. And and so we have people who go out and talk about how to avoid these kinds of frauds and scams. We can go to churches, we can go to senior centers, we can go to schools, that kind of a thing. And again, we have the first time home buyer seminars, and we can invite groups to that. But yes, we can go out into the community and speak.
All right. So, and how long that will be take? So, do we have to call or write? Do we have any direct contact for someone?
Yeah, the best thing to do, I would say, initially, is if people want to write me, my email is Beverly, BEVERLY @njcitizenaction.org. And initially, if they want to write me, and then I can forward them to the correct person on our staff who can arrange for the service. For somebody to come out and speak, I would copy also Rosemary. ROSEMARY at njcitizenonaction.org. And if you like, I'll send these to you directly, and you can maybe make them available to your audience, at another time as well.
All right, we are speaking with Beverly. She's from New Jersey Citizen Action. New Jersey Citizen Action. This is a very powerful organization. They have some services for the community, justice, empowerment, equity, especially. I went to a seminar in Seton Hall University when the seminar was about financial protection. Can you elaborate a little bit for 2 minutes on that? So, or important it is for people to protect themselves or to know or to protect themselves with all these kind of scammers, especially from this administration. They took a lot of people that were watching for the small guy or for the community that that are really in a bad situation. Can you elaborate on the last event you
Sure.
had on Twitter?
So the seminar that you attended, and this is the 15th or 16th year that we started after the United States passed a law called the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act, a long name. That law came about because many of you were affected by the Great Recession around 2008, where there was what we call the subprime lending crisis and then the foreclosure crisis, where mortgage lenders were giving people mortgages they could not afford, which triggered a run of foreclosures, and then that led to a crash, which of course meant that many people lost their jobs. And so when that law was passed to try to protect people from that kind of behavior on Wall Street, those kinds of bad practices, those reckless practices, we decided to have a seminar to explain to the people of New Jersey what happened and what protections were in place. So, for instance, one of the new things that came out of that law was to say that anybody signing up for a mortgage had to have time to look at the mortgage and make sure that the terms were terms that they could actually live with and fulfill, right? Sometimes it was, people would just sign things quickly. And they didn't really understand what they were getting themselves into. Mm-hmm. So that's the kind of law that they were passing. So we every year have a seminar where we talk about the latest things that are going on that impact our lives related to banking, finance, loans, and the things that in our everyday lives. I mean, I think all of you know how we're not on TV, so I can't see, but you are in a room. But, I bet most people or many people use their debit card to buy things. You're using some kind of card, a credit card or a debit card. And there's a lot of vulnerability when you use those cards. Somebody's capturing your information. Somebody might be reaching out to you. Somebody may get a hold of your card information. And we, with the seminar, want to educate people about being careful and making sure that you're safe when you go out into the world and start using your cards. Your every single financial transaction now becomes vulnerable to attack. The other thing is that banks and other financial institutions have started to do things like charge very unfair fees. I don't know if you've noticed.
Oh, yes.
This is for small businesses as well. They got all the small businesses to stop. They didn't want them to take cash. Now suddenly those small businesses have to pay huge fees whenever they accept credit cards, right? So that's on the small businesses. But then how many people have had maybe a slight overdraft in their bank account? Let's say you think your check is going to come through, it's going to be deposited into your bank account, and somehow it doesn't happen in time, and you're overdrawn. You spend $10 into the hole, right? Guess what your fee is? $30. So, we fought to get what is called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau in place. And that bureau made a rule that the banks could not charge more than $5. Unfortunately, with the new administration in the White House, they overturned that rule, and you will now begin to get $30 fees again, regardless of how much you overdraft. You might overdraft 50 cents and you're going to pay a $30 fee. So these are the kinds of things we want to make people aware of. And these are the kinds of things we fight in our advocacy. We want to hold banks accountable. We want them to treat people fairly. How many people have accidentally signed something they didn't realize in the fine print that your whatever your loan was, it was going to kick into a higher rate, or if you missed one payment, you suddenly were going to be kicked into a higher rate. You go into stores and they say, here's a 0% card. Well, guess what? You missed one payment, you're a day late, it suddenly kicks up to 40% or more. So these are the kinds of things that we want to make people aware of. And these are the kinds of things that as an organization and with the help of our members, we try to get legislators at the state level and the federal level to protect us from. We want to make sure that when you go out of your house in the morning, that you don't have to worry about every single transaction costing you money and becoming a drain on your personal finance and your kitchen table budget. And that's what happens at that seminar. We talk about these things. We hear from the experts around the country and the state who are working to protect all of us every single day from these kinds of abuses in banking and finance.
And this is exactly what the community need. You're not only there to do parties, to talk with people, but you do action. You take action, and then you take the complaint from the community, and then you speak with a lot of people, especially the people in Congress, so they can pass laws to protect the community. And I know into the Asian community, they are being victim like every day, especially for the banking system. And myself, I've been a victim a lot of times for overdraft, for transaction that they did not do, and for different kind of things. And when I'm trying to find an organization to help me or to speak with some people, I was never be able to go. Probably I could talk with the manager of the bank, but and then they're gonna take time. They're gonna do some investigation, and I'm feeling alone talking with a bank, talking with a lot of people, and then there's nobody else to do on us. And this is why I love this organization. So you are doing a lot for the community. So thank you so much. And this is why I want the organization to know, the community to know about New Jersey Citizen Action, because you're just like a shield for the community. So if somebody got a complaint or they need someone to speak on their behalf, I think New Jersey Citizen Action is the best place to go. Now, let's speak a little bit about the civic part, because right now, different organizations, they are doing a lot to mobilize the community, especially the population. How do you feel after the result of these elections, especially in New Jersey, Virginia? How do you feel?
We feel encouraged because, especially here in New Jersey, the election was there was someone who was in support of the kinds of cuts and policies that are coming from the White House that we believe are hurting the people of New Jersey. We are concerned about policies that have to do with cutting Medicaid, canceling the programs that were helping people with student debt. The current administration, the Trump administration, doesn't believe that those kinds of services are good. And so when it came to the election in New Jersey, we did endorse first it was Mayor Baraka, and also then Mikie Sherrill when she became the candidate, because they have stated and committed to supporting the kinds of government functions that we believe are vital to helping people get on their feet, stay on their feet, and get ahead. And so we're very encouraged that we have someone that we can work with. I do want to say, a lot of the things that we do take time, but we wanted to have someone in place with whom we could work, with whom we could bring information, we could bring information to this governor-elect. She is someone who cares about the immigrant community. She's someone who cares about affordability, and so she aligns with the principles that we have, that government should always be in service for people and should be there for the people who are struggling the most. And so we are very pleased with this result. As you said, the governor-elect in Virginia has the same kind of values that the governor-elect in New Jersey has. And I think we can see that many citizens are very concerned about the kinds of policies that are coming from the White House. And certainly these assaults on the immigrant community are completely unacceptable. And we wanted to make sure that we had somebody in place who was willing to work with us to fight that kind of assault on our communities. We all know that they are going after people who have done nothing wrong. They are not going after violent criminals. They are going after innocent people who may need to do things with their paperwork, but are certainly participants in our community. So we're very pleased that we have somebody who understands that, and with whom we think we can work to prevent the horrible kinds of assaults that we've seen across the country. I don't think it's going to stop overnight, but we want to have an administration in Trenton that is going to work with us to fight that kind of assault on the people of New Jersey, the hardworking people of New Jersey, immigrants, native-borns, whoever we are. Everyone needs to be protected from that kind of attack.
All right. So you are doing a lot of activities, especially for educational purposes. What do you think about the state of democracy? Do you think people just made a mistake because the last election was about people saying democracy is in danger. We need to defend democracy, and a lot of people they vote for him, and now we see democracy is really in danger. Do you think New Jersey Citizen Action should do more seminar to help the people understand the importance of democracy, or they should defend democracy
No,
more?
I think we should, and I think we believe we have that responsibility, and we are going to do everything we can. I think we believe, Diori, that when people understand the issues and they understand who are the decision makers, it is clearer to them about who the elected officials are that they want to have in place. So, look, there's no party that's perfect, right? And there are Democrats who make mistakes. I would say there are more Republicans, but that's just my opinion. But I think when people understand who what the issues are and who the decision makers are. There are things that can be done at the municipal level. There are things that can be done at the state level. And then there are things that can be done at the federal level. And once people understand that, and then they connect the issues that they're concerned about to the right jurisdiction, to who do they go to when in transportation, for instance, in New Jersey, the state is responsible for transportation. Cities can do some things, but you want to organize and talk to your state legislators about making sure that transportation is there and available. Now, we have this big commuter project that was supposed to happen that President Trump wants to cancel. That is one of the reasons that many people wanted to support Mikie Sherrill, because she supports that. We all know how difficult it is for people who commute into the city, right now. And so it's understanding the issues, understanding who the decision makers are, and then voting based on knowing who is the most likely official to support what you want to happen in your community. So yes, it is a lot about education. But I will say, people have been frustrated with both parties for not, making all the changes they want. Our values align more and mostly with the Democratic Party. But it is, it's not strictly about that. It's also about holding them accountable, and that's why the engagement of your audience is so important. We do believe in protests and going out and saying things, but it's also about calling your elected officials. I can't tell you how many times I go into the office of an elected official and I'll say, "Why did you vote on that way?" And they'll say, "Nobody contacted me to complain about that bill." And so when you, the people, reach out, as much as you can, everybody's busy, we know that. But when you can, if you have an issue and you're willing to tell your story, you need to reach out to your elected officials, and that really helps. And then also, you know, if you, for instance, if you become a member of Citizen Action, you know, we will alert you to certain things. We will send you a note saying, sign on to this letter, and then we'll send, you know, 100 signatures, 1,000 signatures to an elected official. And that's pressure. That's your power. And that's what we're also about, is building your power. So it's really important people understand the issues, know who's responsible for making changes regarding those issues, and then holding these people accountable. And so that's where you're right. The education is very important. And I encourage people to think about, and you can have one issue. You know, maybe it's the garbage in your town. I don't know. Maybe it's the health care that you're not getting. Whatever it is, educate yourself on the issue. We'll help you as much as we can. And then know who you need to pressure, your target. Who do you target? And that's really what civic action is really about, is understanding the process, understanding the issues, and knowing who you have to go after to make the changes that you want.
Yes, especially sometimes I take my time to study the society, like the city council meeting. For a city like it's orange, west orange. For many city council, I'm taking the time to study them. And you can see a lot of people. A city can be like 100,000 people, and then when you look at the city council meeting, not too much people shows up. If you don't know what is going on into the city council, so and then you're missing a lot of things, and then you're gonna be complaining. You're gonna complaining about something, or you can just go to the city council meeting and then with your voice. And I think we should encourage people to go to the city council meeting and to help
and talk to your neighbors and family. And maybe you're busy that night. I mean, we appreciate and understand. People are working hard. Some people are working more than one job. They have children. But when you talk to your neighbors and friends, you know, get a couple people to go, get 10 people to go, even if you can't go. But you're right. Unfortunately, they've got us all so busy working that we don't necessarily have time. But it does make a difference. It really does make a difference when you show up. When they see you there, they're at least a little worried about, you know, the fact that you see what they're doing. And that's where, you know, because that is when your vote really counts, is when they know you're paying attention.
Yes. And also, most of the city council meeting, they are on Facebook or on different platforms. So I always encourage my audience or my neighbors to know exactly who is your city council man or woman. So what they're doing. So when they're gonna have the meeting, it's that every 2 weeks, it's 1 month. So you need to know exactly what is going on inside of your city, because politics is very local. And I think we should encourage people about Q&A about democracy. So I always take a time to ask people about what is democracy, where that comes from. So this is my job. Sometimes I take a lot of time to talk about Native American people. Sometimes people who is holding office about democracy, and the information they give me, or the sense or the understanding, it's kind of we need to improve that, and also we need to give some price on democracy, you know, to encourage people to make sure they are on the subject. For people, for politicians or people who into the press, especially who wrote a book on democracy. So I do know a lot. But for every citizen, especially in the United States, they need to know more about democracy.
I agree 100%. 100%. It's very true that I think we have. I'm not sure that we all ever did, you know, over the generations, but there have been times when people are more aware of what the democracy is. This is universal. This is in every country around the world. Understanding the system is critical to being able to change it. You have to know what the laws are. You have to know what the structure of government is, who does what, and that's the best way to be able to navigate. It's complicated, but you know, as you said, in a city, for instance, just knowing when they meet, understanding the rules about speaking, you know, and that's the kind of thing where, you know, a dinner party where you and your neighbors sit down and teach each other about that as well. So that when you go to the meeting, your time isn't wasted. You've gone to the right meeting, you know the topic, and you know what they're doing. Sometimes they're not voting on a bill; they're just talking about it. So understanding the process is critical, and then and then the issue as well. And that's where organizations like ours should be helping you. There's other, I'm sure there's many organizations in the Haitian community that focus on specific issues, and that's where each of us can educate ourselves about the things that we care about. Then understanding the process, as you said, knowing what time the meeting is. If you show up the wrong day, you're not going to be able to speak, and then you've wasted your time. So that is, I think what you say about understanding democracy down to the ground, is important. I mean, we talk so much about democracy in Congress, and but there are specific things about the structure and the process that can help us participate effectively, and that's what people really need to understand. I think that's how you can empower yourself to make a difference.
Yes, and after 250 years of the system of democracy, and then one guy, not even like 1 year, and then he is attacking every institution. So it's very painful for
It is. He really is. This president. But I will say this: it didn't happen overnight. There have been organizations and people that over time have been working to degrade many of the parts of the system that have been most helpful to Americans. And so he has been sort of like this, the catalyst at the end of the line where he's just pushing it over the edge. But this has been coming on for a long time. And part of it is, because people don't understand democracy and they don't understand how to participate, and they're frustrated. And so they don't get engaged. And that opens the door for the kinds of people that are doing what led to what this president is able to do now. The fact that we weren't able to make sure that we had a balanced Supreme Court. People voted for members of Congress who refused to look at or even evaluate nominees by President Obama. They just said simply they wouldn't do it. And so that, things were happening long ago. And to rebuild our power and the power of citizens and anybody who lives here and is part of this community and this state and this country, the only way to do that is to understand the law and the system and to be able to intersect with it, engage with it in ways that are going to work. And again, protests are good, and we do them a lot. But you have to follow that up with actions that are connected directly to holding elected officials accountable. And that's really important. So I think anything you can do and the people in the audience can do to educate others and themselves about how the system works, the better off they will be and we will all be. This is an uphill battle. What happened on Tuesday night was a really good step in getting people that don't align with what he's trying to do, which is basically take away, what we consider the bedrock parts of the system of democracy. And so we still have a lot to do. We're nowhere near where we have to be. But Tuesday certainly was a first start. And what I would say to people right now, those who can vote, remember that we have the midterm elections coming up in next November. But we have to start educating ourselves, our friends, our family, and our families and our communities about what's at stake. And it means looking for, won't always be the most perfect, but looking for the candidates, that are going to go to Congress and do what we want them to do. If you have friends who live in communities where there are Republican representatives, talk to them. Friendly, ask them what they care about and help them understand how to make changes. And even if they feel, some people just they're Republican, they're loyal to the Republican Party, but that doesn't mean they can't call their representative and say, hey, you need to change your mind about Medicaid. You need to make sure that we have it. There's no reason why they can't. So it's reaching out to people in all these communities. We're going to be working to flip some of those districts, back to the more sensible positions. And so that's what we all have to do. So we have to start now. If we don't start now, we'll be caught, next September and running through November. So talk about the issues now. Talk about what you care about now. And reach out to your the electeds who are in place now, and reach out to your friends and family to get them involved and get them thinking and pushing for what they want and the changes we need. Otherwise, these guys, they're going to keep moving. They're going to keep pushing.
Yes.
They have a lot to win and a lot to gain.
Yes, and now they are on the losing spree. And my biggest fear is for them to pivot. Sometime they probably gonna say, oh, we're doing something wrong, so let's do something different. And then if they do a little slight or something different,
exactly. Yeah. No, we have to all stay very clear about who these people are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've talked to your audience about the Project 2025. They have a manual. They have a book of what they intend to do. And so if they pivot, as you said, and deceive us and say, oh, we're going to fix this or we're going to fix that, the president is now saying he's going to pay out SNAP for the food assistance, right? He says, oh, he's going to fix it. He may do that temporarily. And then when the midterm elections come, if we can't gain control, we can't move control away from his party, then he's going to proceed to go to the next phase after next November. So, and the sooner we think about it, the less stressful it'll be in November. So we need to do that. But as you said, they are capable of doing tricky things, and we just need to be reminded of what they have planned to do in Project 2025, and they're going forward with it step by step. So, it's critical that we all think about these things. And I think the sooner we do, the less stressful it's going to be in the long run. I will also say one thing here. I know a lot of people get overwhelmed, and it isn't everybody can't take on everything. Yeah. But if there's something in particular that's important to you and your family, focus on that. Work on one thing or two issues. Maybe it's just once a week that you do something, because again, we're all working hard and nobody can take on everything. Organizations like mine, that's our job. But for the average person who's got their job or two jobs and raising their kids, just pick one thing or two things. Focus on it. Learn about it. Know it top to bottom. If it's an issue in your town, investigate, educate yourself so that you know it thoroughly and you can speak with assurance and confidence about it if you go to a meeting or you're talking to your friends and your neighbors. Don't take on too much. It's a lot.
All right. Thank you so much. And I think we are going to keep working, especially about the democracy, to do some seminar to help to have different of people that are studying democracy and that can present different of seminar for the people to keep everybody on their toes about what is democracy, or it works, or can you participate, and most of all to defend a democracy. So I see a lot of activities, different organizations said defend democracy. Yes, now it's the time to do it, but we cannot just sit down and then keep on defending democracy. We need to be an active, very active citizen in different
Absolutely.
All right. So thank you so much.
I want to thank you so much, and I apologize. Pardonnez-moi que je ne parle pas français, mais je regrette que je ne parle pas français. Pardonnez-moi.
Okay, de rien. We are very happy to speak with you for the first time, and I think I will be a member of the organization because you are doing so much. Very powerful organization, New Jersey Citizen Action, and you are doing a lot for the community. And I want to say hi to Jerome Montes. He's a very nice guy. He really understands so what I was trying to say. And with you, we are the very first interview, and we're gonna keep working. Thank you so much for all.
Thank you. We look forward to it.
All right, thank you so much, and say hi to all the team members from the organization. And
I will.
All right, thank you so much. Talk to you next time.
Have a good night. Bonsoir.
All right, bonsoir. Bye bye. Okay. Bye bye. Yes. All right. Okay. Bon, mes amis. Nous sautons gain ensemble avec nous Beverly Brown Wujia, lycée Financial Justice Program Director dans New Jersey Citizen Action. Je pense que dans différents états gagné des organisations qui nan niveau ça qui a fait des activités qui a des citoyens yo venir plus actifs chaque jour plus parce que nous besoin des citoyens qui vraiment actifs dans différents niveaux et spécialement dans la question démocratie. Donc, et pas oublier, nous toujours dans aftermath ou bien après élection qui te gagné et dans pays pas ici, côté que gagne différents monde qui yo même là yo et prend chaise bourré, vous comprenez ou bien yo prend pouvoir ou bien pouvoir dans mais yo et parmi là-dedans yo là il y a un problème internet. OK, là il y a un problème internet ni YouTube là ni Facebook là nous est tous les deux tombés ensemble. Ah non, problème internet là nous gagnons problème nous gagnons internet bon cathédrale par contre ça qui passe qui fait tous les deux live yo tombé. Ah non. OK, non. Par contre ça qui passe but gagnons Facebook là lui-même qui voulait quelqu'un. OK. Là en plus de ça nous capable dire que élection ça c'était un véritable gain. J'aime nous capable aller un véritable nous ka aller sur YouTube là, moi YouTube là lui-même les style live et YouTube là les toujours là, c'est Facebook là qui tombe. OK, là nous style nan après élection côté que différents monde prend poste, vous comprenez? Moun yo là yo prend pouvoir, comprendre? Spécialement dans New Jersey, comme du élection dans New Jersey. Son élection qui est vraiment important. C'est pas que nous sorti dans tout problème que nous te connaissons, mais plus ou moins là nous pon break parce que si baga là te passé l'autre gens, tant coup là et m'a dit à nous te recevoir et pasteur Cadet lui-même là monsieur campé li défend et li te défend et Jacques tête calée, comprendre monsieur défend Jacques mais même moi pasteur Cadet font coupe parce que Cadet là monsieur gen ta féliciter Mikie Sherrill, comprendre parce que Cadet ça d'où ça monsieur parce que Cadet ça son pasteur on peut pas ça même donc parce que Cadet courir là le supporter li voye gros félicitations et by Mikie Sherrill. OK? Bon, ça son bagage. Et après nous te recevoir frère Yves Saint-Ville, lui même il te dit, il va pas comme ça du tout, c'est avec Mikie Sherrill la marché. Eh ben Mikie Sherrill lui-même là, il va faire nous honte, il paraît là et puis il fait gagne. J'aime dire qu'il fait gagne là, il fait les amis en pile gagne. Donc c'est un véritable succès, comprendre son véritable son blue wave, j'aime le qu'on dit hein. Oui, maman petite Marivante, OK? Là pas gain instant ça du tout, pas un blague, pas gain l'autre gens pour capable dire et l'aime tout ça. Moi pense c'est dans mon clair là et champagne là t'a ouvri, mais non, il était ouvri New Brunswick, quoi. Et là, je pense c'est satisfaction, vous comprenez, pour un peu le monde qui eux même yo ap suivre de près ou de loin, quitte monde qui c'est citoyen américain, OK, qui tout pas citoyen américain, mais depuis élection ça a concerné dans un niveau ou bien on l'autre, ou t'obtient résultat. Et résultat lui-même li tombé. Résultat eux-même yo tombé, OK? Et spécialement pour différentes catégories. Donc, pour question gouverneur, nous connaissons exactement comment situation lui-même li te présenté, OK? Nan Virginia, et démocrate yo même et yo fait gagne. Dans Virginia, bah là li même li passé bien pour monsieur démocrate yo, vous comprenez? Là mon yo a essayé regarder comment élection capable et résultat yo. Là, ça que moun a parlé là, amis auditeurs, c'est seulement question, y a regardé ensemble de et points yo, ensemble. Question yo les informations qui sorti après élection, qui est-ce qui t'a voté, qui est-ce qui pas voté. Y a regardé en pile information. Comment bagala lui-même li te présenté. Donc, qui est-ce qui t'a voté pour qui est-ce qui pas voté, même là, et pour qui est-ce. Et n'a regardé, spécialement dans New Jersey, statistiques yo même là, yo sorti. OK? Statistiques yo pas ni deux ni trois. C'est que, pendant yo même yo réveillé yo, yo finalement pas comprendre et de quoi il s'agit, comprendre? Et pendant yo là, yo ouais, là lui-même, li pas bon pour yo. Et puis yo dit là, bon, quittez-nous essayer là, quittez-nous essayer faire on vol de face, quittez-nous essayer regarder de quoi il s'agit pour que yo capable avancer. OK. Là, dans élection ça spécialement dans New Jersey, les a regardé sous 100% blanc, yo a gen 60% qui voté pour et ti partenaire Jacques, vous comprenez? Là, yo te vle pour monsieur là vinn camper la jacké en bas biscuit nous. Vous comprenez? Donc c'est ça qui yo te vle, ça veut dire là et blanc yo même yo te souhaité ou bien yo te vle que bah là les mêmes pas son l'autre. Donc 40% blanc monsieur et garçon blanc qui voté pour Mikie Sherrill. Il a regardé femmes yo. 53% femmes voté pour Mikie. 47% femmes blancs yo même yo pas voté pour lui, yo voté pour Joe Jack. On a là, on sel ba ka parler dans l'area et hit de Jack, ça veut dire dit monsieur là mon cher prend l'area pour parce que bah là lui même li pas bon pour. Gen black men, ça veut dire garçon noir. Yo même là, yo 92% garçons noirs africains-américains, caribéens et yo voté 92% pour Mikie Sherrill. OK? « 92%. 7% yo voté pour Jack. Gen black women, ça veut dire et mesdames noires yo comprendre? Eh ben là 95%. 95% voté pour Mikie. Latino men yo 61% voté pour Mikie Sherrill, 38% voté pour Jacques. Latino women yo 73% voté pour Mikie et puis 26% voté pour Jacques. Ça veut dire dans reste monde ça veut dire monde qui sorti en Europe, monde qui sorti dans Caraïbes, comprendre l'autre immigrant, comprendre asiatique yo par exemple, caribéen, comprendre européen yo, 70% là-dedans voté pour Mikie Sherrill et puis 30% yo même voté pour l'autre partenaire. Là, nous allons regarder dans la question de par county, ça veut dire dans chaque county comment va la dépasser. Atlantic City, Atlantic County, 9599 moun voté pour Mikie Sherrill, 46876 voté pour Jack Seattle. Bergen County, c'est 185 000 moun. 185 120 000 moun qui voté. 185 120 qui voté pour Mikie Sherrill. Burlington County 109 639 moun, Camden 122 998 moun. Ou gen Cape May li même là, ça monsieur moun Cape May yo, comprendre, yo voté pour Jack. Ça pas tellement intéressant. Cumberland 20 281 voté pour Mikie Sherrill. Donc moun sa yo voye Mikie Sherrill monter. Et n'a regardé là dans Essex County. Dans Essex County ça son véritable massacre. Comprendre? Dans Essex County c'est la grand pile moun noir, en pile africain américain, comprendre? C'est la grand pile caribéen. Eh bien, il y a près de 100 combien mille moun qui votent en plus pour Mikie Sherrill. Essex County by 173 765 voix pour Mikie Sherrill. Et puis, il y a Jacqueline lui-même 53 301. OK? Ça veut dire il y a presque une différence là de 150 000 moun. Ou bien 120 000 moun exactement qui votaient en plus pour Mikie Sherrill. Ça veut dire nous wak Mikie Sherrill pouvoir. Rasbaraka by Mikie Sherrill lui-même là pouvoir. OK? Donc ça qui supposé fait là, il était fait malgré te gagné on ti là ou nous comprendre, te gagné on ti ba là et bah yo pas de fin et bouge pas gouan, il était persisté, mais faut nous retirer chapeau nous devant Rasbaraka qui lui-même il montre qu'ils sont grand homme, MT dit ça mardi hein, il montre qu'ils sont grand homme, li et campé, il prend responsabilité li en main, et ouais pas capable porter et fado ça le pas capable porter problème ça, il dit faut le faire ce qu'il faut et il camper là. Les camper normalement, les supporter Mikie Sherrill et c'est une raison qu'il faut là. Bon, grand pile élément qui explique que Mikie Sherrill lui-même les est passé premièrement petit partenaire lui-même lui dit là et li bail et petit partenaire pareil là 100% li bail gouvernement 100% avec son gouvernement qui tellement bien travaille. Obama te dit ça, oui. Gouvernement ça tellement bien travaillé pour monsieur, pas aucun room pour improvement. Donc, je pense que là, peuple lui-même, li fait ça pour le faire, li dit ça pour le dire, et li mettez en pile démocrate en haut, démocrate en bas, vous comprenez? Là, il y a un pile dossier et qui parle. Mais, est-ce que tout bagage fini ou bien est-ce que là... Parce que l'élection, ça n'est pas même mi-terme, n'est pas même mi-mandat. Ça veut dire pour combien vous venez dans moitié mandat. C'est un heels off election. Ça veut dire son élection qui pas même comme si mi-terme ou bien pour bah, il fait souvent. Donc, et ça ne faut pas de grand pile monde qui participer. Mais 2026 là, genre que Beverly Figth dit là 2026 là, Fox depuis qu'on a nous commencer par préparer. Gen tout dans West Orange là, gen Tammy Williams qui lui-même li passé comme councilwoman pour lui capable fini, mais mandat ça c'est pour un an seulement parce que l'autre novembre 2026, il va dans élection encore, vous comprenez? 2026 là, il va dans élection, mais c'est dans Hillside. Dans Hillside, gagné là, on run off. Ça veut dire qu'il y a une élection 2 décembre dans Hillside, New Jersey. Parce que là, tu gagné 3 candidats pour magistrat. Eh bien, gagné, c'est 2 qui fait assez de voix. Eh bien, il va aller dans l'élection dans mois décembre. Donc, en pile, j'ai là déjà fixé sous Hillside, en pile monde déjà mobilisé. Regardez exactement comment Hillside lui-même et l'a comporté et exactement qui ça que et mois de décembre lui-même il pral porter pour Hillside. Donc, nous-même en tant que monde qui a fait observation dans le système non? Ou bien monde qui concerné par ce qui a passé dans l'autre pays. Et je pense que faut que moun yo prend et destiné en main. OK? Parce que là pas gen jouette la pas jouer du tout. Fuck, moun yo connaît qui ça fait. Parce que bête la prend coup, comprendre? Monsieur mauvais et gen un message direct qu'al joindre et ti partenaire. Donc, par là, lui-même, et pas gen blague. Là, dit tout ça fait, nous dit que the fight is on. Daga là, lui-même, li, et direct. Faut que nous le connaissons exactement. Et qui ça y a fait? Oui, Virginia, Georgia, ou après New Jersey, ou après New York, élection lui-même, li, et démocratie ou bien démocrate eux-même, yo fait gagne, vous comprenez, pas gen menti dans ça. J'aime le qu'on dit, à gauche qui dit, pas gen menti dans ça. Mais comme ça, tout faut que yo c'est démocrate, yo connaît, pral réplique, vous comprenez? Ça c'est ça réplique là, hein? Après élection ça fin passer et puis mois et novembre ça gon élection, vous comprenez? Si partenaire dans l'autre camp yo te fait gagne, yo fait peuple la fâché, yo voté démocrate, mais pendant 3 mois qu'a vinn là yo, faut démocrate yo même qui prend ces de poste faut que prouver que yo ka fait une bonne bagaille. Et si partenaire ça là même libéralement de enragé, comprendre, libéralement de dédoubler, il va le faire on série de l'autre bagaille. Donc, ça est extrêmement important pour que tout le monde capable essayer de comprendre. Mais système démocratique là, et c'est ça nous avons dit pendant des années, ça nous avons dit pendant avec plusieurs monde, qui toujours que le système démocratique lui-même est en danger. Ou pas qu'à une démocratie côté que les gains city council meeting, même ça dit fait que ça là, on fait comme si on prend temps, on prend ensemble pour étudier le système là. Pour regarder comment bagay marche en dedans. Et m'te ouais pays ça n'a pas un gros problème pour question de démocratie. Parce que pour moun qui étudie système démocratique là, qui étudie sciences politiques, qui a fait un travail de terrain, qui a prend information qui a passé dans la société a, qui a chita dans le laboratoire, qui a étudié. Moi me plus intéressant pour moi pour m'entendre une émission radio. Tant pour mal perdre du temps là, pour mal rentrer pour taille dans bay blague avec moi. Les bien important moi pour que moi achète un livre, tant mal acheter un tennis, comprendre, tant mal prendre plaisir pas non. Parce que chaque monde dans vie a yo gon bagay exactement pour y faire. Donc, l'on regarde City Council meeting dans Isorange, dans Orange, dans Montclair, dans Belleville, dans Bloomfield, South Orange. Même étudier City Council qu'a fait dans Florida. Donc, ouais, moun ne pas participer. Moun ne pas faire déplacement pour aller en personne. Ni tous les la fait online, moun ne pas participer. Donc, résultat, ni de ni toi, ou pral un gros problème. N'importe moun ka attaquer démocratie lui-même, la vin faible. Mais, bon Dieu lui-même, li toujours gagné on bagaille là, il toujours vont ses coups pour malheureux ou bien pour délivrer démocratie. Et yon nan moun qui campe du bec et des zones cap défendre démocratie. Et un bon nèg pas trouver ça. Un bon moun cap fait bon, là gen Manhattan Institute. Gen on sait de gros think tank qui aux États-Unis la nèg a tiré pied. Tant conseil de nèg cap étudier Paul. Nèg yo étudier, nèg a fait de bagaille dans temps ancien. Dans temps grand papa. Politique pas fait comme ça encore. Temps a changé. Et ça qu'il faut ouais, New York là, gen nèg là qui tombe sous tête yo, on sait de gros millionnaires, on sait de nèg qui fait l'argent, yo pas ouais ça t'a venir. Parce que yo pas chita avec jeune, yo pas parler. Là zami ça nous pral dans là, monsieur dans tout bas, monsieur dans toute activité, monsieur comme si là parle avec peuple là. Nèg yo se chita derrière bureau, yo pas parle avec peuple là, pas frapper porte moun yo pour connaître comment bagarre passer. Et c'est ça n'a demandé pour que nous Jersey Citizen Action fait descendre à terre, vinn dans la librairie yo, vinn dans l'église yo. Aller dans restaurant yo, passer dans café yo. Les gon championnat débarquer. Les gros conseils qui fait débarquer, c'est pas arrêter, non, c'est de gros offices, non, c'est de gros bureaux. Et nous pensons que l'ordre du peuple là, 1, 2, 3, et puis il va le marcher. Donc là, question de New York. OK, bon, on a dit sur question de New York. L'ITMET sont seuls qui attendent des émissions là, râler crayon marqué. L'ITMET c'est deux qui attendent des émissions râler crayon marqué. Bon bagay qui a préparé là dans New York. Gon série de dinosaures, gon série de chats, ça veut dire gon série de requins. Gon série de d'ayati conseillers. C'est comme ça dit bah là. Mais gon série de nèg yo pense New York c'est bien maman ou c'est bien papa yo. On ka comprendre que papa on série de monde te fait un ensemble de bagailles en dans New York, ou participer pas porter gouverneur ou vinn gouverneur. Ou courir pour magistrat ou bien ou te police en dans New York. Ou vinn magistrat dans New York. Mais New York pas bien maman, bien New York pas bien papa. Faut nous ka quitter et ville dans marché. Si monsieur nous fait un nous, you did your time. You have been a governor, you have been a mayor, you have been a policeman, you have been everything in New York. Now it's time to move on. And then you really need to move on. Don't be the person that gonna bring drama, trouble to New York. If you really love New York that much, you should be helping the city. You have been created for yourself a lot of enemies. Those two guys, ni Eric Adams, ni Andrew Cuomo, I think you have done too much already. You said enough. You done enough. Now leave New York alone. I think New York should be first for everybody. You have done that, been that, so that. Just leave your legacy. Et c'est ça me te dit, Anaya. Tell Eric Adams to prepare his legacy because it's time for him to move. Even though Curtis te al supporter Como, West not tap tight. Mais Zohran Kwame Mamdani tap toujours passé comme meilleur. So, c'est message mais ça. Quitte c'est Eric Adams, quitte c'est Como, quitte c'est ban billionnaire ça yo, quitte c'est ti partner Pennsylvania. Leave New York alone. Pas faire pousser moun font série de désordre. Pas faire complot pendant que nous pensons c'est Zohran nous va l'attaquer. And then c'est désordre nous va le mettre dans city. Parce que y a marre nous coupable. Y a marre nous coupable parce que next a yo kon administration bien. Yo kon administration, yo kon New York parfaitement. Ça veut dire Zohran lui-même là, li doit intelligent, c'est pour le connaître que pas et en pile pas de c'est pour le mettre peuple là devant faut marcher sur 13 pour pas pile 14 parce que li grand pile ennemi. Et puis les pas vle well, on comprend, monsieur frapper des gueux, monsieur son qui I don't know. Faut me prendre plus de temps là pour m'étudier Zohran Kwame Mamdani ça. Et pas mon capteur de mon non faut étudier comportement et langage corporel, faut étudier sourire, faut étudier geste li, faut étudier expression visage li, faut étudier gel, faut étudier quantité de temps li prend pour le répondre, faut étudier impulsion, faut étudier est-ce que li excuse tête li ou bien s'il faut erreur li demander pardon. Et puis faut qu'on capable faire projection sous ça le pral dire, sous ça le pral faire. Et si gen moun k'ap manipule on série de bagay, comment li même li pral réagir. Même parce que faut que New York vini en premier. Ça veut dire pour nèg yo pral mettez pour Figth, Jean-Yves te ka di mettez pour Figth en bas pied monsieur. Quitte ce petit partenaire Pennsylvania avenir. Quitte ce nèg qui en dedans parce que gon bagay la qui ka mandre pour monsieur. Et là il y a nèg qui demandé pour monsieur le pour déporter monsieur. Ça veut dire bah là le pape douce pour monsieur dit tout. Mais espérer que et peuple a comprendre et c'est tout monsieur grand pile ti jeune bon côté en pile jeune qui pas gain comme si expérience gros dinosaure gros requin ça yo qui nan qui compte tout coup dans les âmes qui compte toute technique de corruption de manipulation qui fait des années cap corrompre on série de monde qui met on série monde non série de poste qui font série de deal malachon qui sale dans corruption faut monsieur connaît exactement comment libéral approchons ces bagages me pense que le supposé gain monde une équipe solide ensemble avec lui pour dire monsieur de quoi il s'agit et comment pour le comporter mais moi-même quelqu'un ça salia New York first depuis tant date il a utilisé immigrants dans New York et puis tant date il a parlé question de démocratie dans tête monde à travers le monde et puis jodi a là où je non ti jeune qui parler de démocratie they need to sit their ass down to let the guy do his thing. Just let the guy do his thing. Et pas de démocratie n'a parlé de élection and then the guy is better than you so just get the hell almanger ça de fait and leave New York the F alone. Leave New York first. Là on bon monde nous pas jam care pour bâtir nos healthcare. Nous pas jam care pour te ba moun yo boss free. Nous pas jam care là pour te al chita parler avec peuple là. Look, he's just better than you.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants. And as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
Ouais, là nous là n'a utilisé moun là n'a foncé de dossier. So ça n'yen get en paix comme ça. Développé.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants. And as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
OK, bah ça fait nèg yo malgré tout ça qui passe là. Puis go soufflette nèg yo. Puis go soufflette tu monsieur yo prend et soufflette ça. Puis go baf nèg yo prend New York. Because New York is the crown jewel. Because New York c'est kay nèg yo, comprendre? Because c'est la financial district hein. Ça fait dans la vie à faut qu'on capable black et relax, comprendre? Faut capable relax. Relax. Anyway, donc so moi me pense que Jean citoyen Jean moun yo la lever pour défendre droit défendre et ça gagne moi même si on t'entend de pas t'a jamais arrivé là but yo plus ou moins a privé yo c'est quoi quand Jean moun kon di a camper sous pied Jean pas moi te ka dil eh ben so je pense que ça extrêmement important mais l'analyse qu'on fait et Virginia ba yo capable normal tout le monde a fait ça ou bien pour faire avancer balata New Jersey son blanc c'est un petit yo y a juste crab koyo yo di système normal même connaît ba ça passe New York là nèg yo pas ka digérer ba ça dit tout nèg yo pas digérer même nèg yo pas digérer ba ça dit tout et moi même pingam voye ba yo just chill out relax don't do nothing parce que al fucking ba stupid parce que y a mari mon kouka.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants. tonight, led by an immigrant.
OK. Ça veut dire là. OK, bon, je pense que nous comprenons exactement ça me dire. There is no game. Et je pense que faut monsieur gérer sécurité le tout, comprendre? C'est l'eau avec l'eau a jouer ça, l'eau rentrer dans game ça, son game tout civis lié parce que ça c'est Kaine, you comprendre monsieur ti pas les Pennsylvania, monsieur gen business là-dedans et monsieur dit nèg là, nous ça passé, c'est New York qui force, c'est New York qui vous défait tout. Damn. This guy is banging. C'est pas un jeune man. Et moi je passe à côté qui fait bon chrétien. Même quand passe à côté qui fait bon chrétien, monsieur pas être and then he just like monsieur quand nous citoyen monsieur. Quand nous citoyen, c'est ça qui passe dans une question de communauté tout. La communauté pas ici on dit oh paye moun yo pas paye yo. La communauté yo pas support yo. La communauté ouais si Zohran haïtien puis gouvernement t'a bien c'est nèg qui dans communauté là. Moun qui pas t'a vle le passer c'est moun qui bon côté. Honnête, il fait paraître COUNCILWOMAN monsieur paraît dans pour là à 1%. Moun qui bon côté. Moun qui dans communauté yo même encore t'a camper contre lui. C'est ça la différence là. Entre une communauté qui avance avec une communauté qui kokobé. Une communauté, yo comme si là, yo monsieur fait paraître, on prend regarder lui, on prend du pas bal passer, yo pas supporter, on prend, il fait ça pi bien passer nous, on prend c'est 10 c'est date. Des prend la grand et puis au boycott. Des prend la grand. Yo pas dire ah mon cher ça t'a bon sous fait. Pas dire ah on connaît tel sous bail, il travail oui, qui t'aime bon invité, qui t'aime conseiller. Donc, mais ça différence entre une communauté côté gen moun cap penser, cap avancer avec une communauté côté que c'est même communauté encore qui kembe tête li. Non, même tintin, yo pas avancer, yo pas de capacité pour avancer et yo pas quitter l'autre avancer. That's the difference. Et c'est ça que vérité a. But unfortunately, je vais la dire bon Dieu pour les malheureux. Jean-Moulou dit, on fait d'être fermé, son porte qui ouvre.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants. And as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
OK. Donc, je suis venu avec un série de slogans qui vraiment marquent. Je dis par exemple, you toujours dit tan wap vini. They always say our time is coming. Je dis Vigil, my friend, our time is now. Et monsieur vient avec un l'autre parole là, lagué dans biscuit ti monsieur. Et monsieur répété Martin Luther King souvent. Monsieur dit relève jonvle, relève démocratie ou bien relève démocratique socialiste. Mais faut gon façon pour que tout le monde capable vivre plus ou moins bien. Donc, révélation et fait année ça, pendant la démocratie lui-même, la prend pile coup, on prend ba yo let ba yo difficile, eh ben, l'histoire a écrit que pendant une situation extrêmement difficile, gon révélation, gon messie, gon nèg là, et l'histoire ou bien la nature est réservée pour porter message ça. Parce que Jean-Michel campé là, la frappé là, et par exemple il nèg qui campé la frappé. Bon monsieur il dit hey ti partner, c'est New York qui faut, guess what? Et New York qui pour défaut. Monsieur dit ti partner, si wap vin pour yon, et ben guess what? Wap vin pour nous tout. Et c'est la danger parce que et nèg yo pral mettre profit grand papier monsieur, ça veut dire yo pral font on serait de complot, yo pral trap monsieur. On sait de moun là yo commence à trap. On sait de moun, y a voye moun par la veille, y a voye moun offrir yo, on sait de bagaille. Yo pral mettre Yo pas l'entrer dans machine, on série de monde mettez, on série de bagaille. Yo pral voir on série de femmes sous dos pied, on série de monde. Yo pral voir on série de monde vinn parler avec on série de monde mettre on série de bagaille sous dos yo. Rete là ou attendez ouais. Malheureusement pour nèg yo
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants. And as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
OK. Donc pendant qu'il y a couru des immigrants, dit immigrants pas bon, immigrants ceci, immigrants cela, immigrants qui crasé pays, immigrants 10, immigrants that, monsieur Campé dans figure dire, guess what? You one stupid idiot. Et nous cap mené. Donc gouverneur nous essayer de dire, et nous cap mené boy ici. Immigrants cap mené, immigrants qui riche, comprendre? Bon, il y a des immigrants qui pas comprendre, c'est immigrants, et t'as coup Elon Musk. Bon, ouais, si Elon Musk son est intelligent, elle te supporte, elle te supposé supporter Zohran Kwame Mamdani. Mais il y a des nègres là, tu vas comprendre du tout. Donc, pour tout immigrant, même avec Zohran Kwame Mamdani, pour tout nègre ouais, pour tout monde en général, je pense que c'est son nègre qui comprend que li pas qu'à faire comme si là font petit gouvernement, administration côté là mettre moun parle seulement. Non, faut administration côté va battre tout nègre sont que ou ka travailler avec tout le monde et coalition monsieur bâti, faut li gen jeune, li gen immigrant, li gen comme si grand monde, li gen petit pays à comprendre, il faut vision là, son vision qui atterrit. Ça me souhaite pour monsieur que succès et pour qu'il est capable d'atterrir toute vision lui.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants. And as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
Donc, merci amis auditeurs. C'est le bagaille. Dans livre histoire et écrit non. Dans grand livre histoire, monsieur écrit non là, il dit monsieur écrit non dans livre l'histoire. Monsieur écrit non, il dit guess what? Les après côté histoire la terre yo pas mettre non. Donc merci amis auditeurs, donc faut nous actifs dans politique là. Faut au moins même j'avec Beverly Fink so deal même là pas prendre tout bagaille ensemble. Même là pas qu'à faire toute bagarre, on pas qu'à parler de politique, de économie, de sécurité, de géopolitique, des questions de santé, des questions de finance, quel que soit, on pas qu'à parler de toute bagarre ensemble, mais pour bagaille, question de famille, prends bagarre, question de la mangeaille, snap. Quel que soit ça lié, prend un élément pour participer là-dedans. Si pas qu'à prendre tout prend yon. Et ça lui-même là extrêmement important.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants. And as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
Damn. This guy is so good. Nothing but Talib. Parce que tellement monsieur bon, man. Tellement excited. Boom. My God. Anyway, so ça est pour tout petit immigrant. Pour tout immigrant, vous comprenez? Donc là, monsieur lui-même, monsieur fait causer.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants,